My name is Jordan Chen. I'm 29 years old, and last month, I conducted an experiment that destroyed my family, or maybe just revealed what was already broken. For the past 5 years, I've been the golden child, the one who made it. Software engineer at a major tech company. 6-figure salary. The person everyone called when they needed money. But I started to notice something. A pattern. Every family gathering, every phone call, every text, it always ended the same way. With someone asking me for something. So I decided to test them. I pretended to lose my job, and what I discovered about my family made me wish I'd stayed blind to the truth. It started 3 months ago at my cousin Sarah's wedding. Beautiful venue, open bar, the whole thing probably cost $60,000. Money her parents didn't have. I was sitting at the reception when my Uncle Mike pulled me aside. "Jordan, hey, got a minute?" I knew that tone. That's the I need something tone. "Sarah's honeymoon package fell through," he said. "The travel company went under. They lost their deposit, $8,000. I was wondering if you could help them out. Just a loan. They'll pay you back." This was the 4th loan I'd given to family members in 2 years. I'd never seen a penny back from any of them. If you've ever been the family ATM, drop a cash emoji in the comments. Let's see how many of us are out there. But I said yes, because that's what I always did. I transferred the money that night. Sarah and her new husband went to Bali. Posted Instagram stories every day. Never said thank you. 2 weeks later, my brother Devin called. "Yo, Jordan. Emergency. My car got totaled. Insurance is dragging their feet. I need a car for work. Can you spot me for a down payment? Like $5,000? I gave him the money. He bought a used BMW. Not a reliable Honda. Not a practical Toyota. A BMW. Then my mom called. "Sweetie, I hate to ask, but the roof is leaking. The contractor says it's $12,000 to fix. Your father and I are tapped out. Can you help?" I helped. In 3 months, I'd given away $25,000 to my family. None of it had been paid back. Most of it hadn't even been acknowledged. And then something happened that changed everything. I was having lunch with my best friend Marcus. We'd known each other since college. He was one of the few people in my life who never asked me for anything. "You look stressed," he said. "Just work stuff." I lied. He put his fork down. "Talk to me." So I told him. About the loans. About always being the one everyone turned to. About feeling less like a son, a brother, a cousin, and more like a walking ATM. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said something that hit me like a truck. "You want to know who your family really is? Take away the money and see who stays." I laughed it off at first, but the idea planted itself in my brain. It grew roots. What if I did that? What if I pretended the money was gone? Before we continue, have you ever wondered who would stick around if you lost everything? Keep watching. This gets intense. That night, I created a plan. I would tell my family I'd been laid off. That tech was doing mass layoffs, which was true, and I'd been caught in it. I'd say I had no severance, no savings left after helping everyone, and I was struggling. Then I'd wait and see what they did. I called my lawyer first, drew up documents to protect my actual assets, changed my direct deposit to a separate bank account, made everything look legitimate. Then I set the stage. I chose a family dinner to break the news. Sunday night at my parents' house. The whole family would be there. I showed up looking terrible on purpose. Hadn't shaved in days. Wore old clothes. Dark circles under my eyes from staying up late on purpose. "Jordan. Honey, you look awful," my mom said the moment I walked in. "Rough week," I muttered. Dinner was the usual. Devin bragging about his BMW. Sarah showing off her wedding photos. My dad talking about golf. No one asked me how I was doing. Finally, during dessert, I dropped the bomb. "I need to tell you all something." My voice cracked. "I lost my job." The table went silent. "What happened?" My dad asked, his face hard. "Mass layoffs. They cut 40% of our division. I was part of it." "When?" my mom demanded. 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks? Devin said. "Why didn't you tell us?" I was in shock. I didn't know how. "What about severance?" Uncle Mike asked. "Here it comes," I thought. "Nothing. They claimed performance issues to avoid paying out. I'm fighting it with a lawyer, but that takes time." "What about your savings?" Sarah asked. I looked right at her. "I don't have any. I've been helping family. The honeymoon, the car, the roof, mom and dad's property taxes last year, Devin's rent 3 months ago. I have about $2,000 in my checking account." You could hear a pin drop. Comment shocked if you can already see where this is going. Then my mother spoke. Her voice was cold. "Jordan, that's incredibly irresponsible. You should have been saving. You can't just give money away and expect to be fine." I stared at her. "I was giving it to family." "That's not the point," my dad said. "You're almost 30 years old. You should have an emergency fund." "I did," I said quietly. "I gave it to you." "That's not fair," Sarah said. "We didn't force you to help us." Devin nodded. Yeah, man. You offered. We didn't put a gun to your head. The blame was already shifting. Within 5 minutes, my financial crisis had become my fault. So, what are you going to do? My mom asked. I'm looking for jobs. I have some interviews lined up, but rent is due in 2 weeks, and I'm short about $1,500. I was hoping. No. My dad cut me off. Absolutely not. I blinked. What? You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. We can't keep bailing you out. Bailing me out? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I've given you all $25,000 in the last 3 months. That was your choice, my mother said icily. We didn't ask you to be irresponsible with your money. But you did ask, I thought. You all asked. Every single one of you. I looked around the table. Devin was scrolling on his phone. Sarah was whispering to her husband. Uncle Mike was suddenly very interested in his coffee. So no one can help? I said. Not even a little? Silence. Then Devin spoke without looking up from his phone. Maybe you should sell some stuff. That gaming setup you have is probably worth a couple grand. I left without another word. Over the next 2 weeks, I played my part perfectly. I posted on Facebook about job hunting. Vague, stressed posts about how tough the market was. I stopped going to family events, claiming I couldn't afford gas. I texted my mom asking if I could borrow $200 for groceries. She left me on read. I called Devin and asked if he could pay back even $500 of the $5,000 I'd given him. He said he was going through his own stuff and couldn't help right now. Sarah blocked me on Instagram after I asked if she could return any of the honeymoon money. If you're feeling angry on Jordan's behalf right now, wait until you hear what happens next. Hit that like button if this story is hitting different. But here's what really got me. The complete silence. My phone used to blow up constantly. Family group chats, check-ins, invitations to things. The moment I lost my job, the moment I had nothing to give, I became invisible. 3 weeks in, my mom called. Finally, I thought, maybe she's checking on me. Jordan, your father and I are going on a cruise next month. We wanted to let you know we won't be around for your birthday. A cruise? While I was supposedly broke and struggling. That sounds expensive, I said carefully. Oh, it is, but we found a great deal. Plus, your father just got his pension increase. We deserve to treat ourselves. Treat themselves. With the roof I'd paid to fix over their heads. Mom, I'm really struggling here. I might lose my apartment. Well, she said, her voice distant, maybe you should look into government assistance. That's what it's there for. She hung up, and I realized something that broke me in a way I wasn't expecting. They didn't care. Not really. They'd never cared about me as a person. Only about what I could provide. There was one exception. One person who proved that not everyone in my life was using me, Marcus. The day after the family dinner, he texted me. Bro, I heard. I'm so sorry. What can I do? I told him I was fine. I was handling it. I didn't need anything. Jordan, stop. I'm coming over. He showed up with groceries. Real food. Not ramen. Not canned soup. Fresh vegetables, meat, bread, coffee. Marcus, you don't have to. Shut up, he said, putting the bags on my counter. You've had my back for 10 years. I've got yours. Then he handed me an envelope. What's this? Open it. Inside was $2,000 in cash. Marcus, no. I can't take this. Yes, you can. And you will. Pay me back when you're back on your feet. No rush. No interest. Just friends helping friends. I almost broke character right there. Almost told him the truth. But instead, I just said, thank you. He pulled me into a hug. You're my brother, man. Blood doesn't mean anything. Actions do. Drop a heart in the comments for Marcus. We all need a friend like this. That night, I made a decision. When this was over, Marcus was going to know the truth, and he was going to understand why I did it. But first, I had to finish the test. I scheduled a family meeting, told everyone it was urgent. Life or death. They actually showed up for that. Funny how urgent gets attention when I need help, doesn't? We met at my parents' house again. Everyone was there. Mom, Dad, Devin, Sarah and her husband, Uncle Mike. Even some extended family I hadn't called but who somehow heard there was drama. I stood at the head of the table. They all looked at me with varying degrees of annoyance and concern. Thanks for coming, I said. Jordan, what's this about? My dad asked impatiently. Your mother and I have dinner reservations. I pulled out my laptop, connected it to their TV. I want to show you something. I pulled up my bank account, my real one. Balance, $287,000. The room went silent. What is that? My mother whispered. That's my current balance, I said calmly. I didn't lose my job. I still work at the same company. I got a promotion, actually. My salary is now $160,000 a year. Devin stood up. You lied? Yes. Why? Sarah demanded. Because I wanted to see what you'd do if I had nothing. If I couldn't give you anything anymore. I wanted to know who you really were. I pulled up a second screen. A spreadsheet. This is a breakdown of every dollar I've given to this family over the last 5 years. $127,000. To all of you. Devin, you're at $34,000. Sarah, $22,000. Mom and Dad, $41,000. Uncle Mike, $18,000. The rest of you make up the remainder. The numbers hung in the air like an accusation. Not a single one of you has paid me back. Not one. You said those were gifts, Sarah shouted. No, I said they were loans. You just chose to hear gifts because it was easier. If you think Jordan is justified, comment deserved. If you think he went too far, comment too much. I want to see where you all stand. My mother's face was red. How dare you manipulate us like this? Manipulate you? I laughed, bitter and sharp. I needed $1,500. I've given you all over $100,000. I needed 1/10 of what I gave you. And not one of you helped. Not one of you even tried. That's different, my dad said. How? How is it different? Because you had money. You were doing fine. And when I wasn't? When I needed help? Where were you? Silence. I'll tell you where. Mom and Dad, you were planning a cruise. Devin, you were posting about your BMW. Sarah, you were showing off your Bali photos. None of you cared that I was struggling because I wasn't useful to you anymore. Devin found his voice. So what, you're cutting us off? This is blackmail. No, I said quietly. This is goodbye. I pulled out a folder. Inside were legal documents. These are promissory notes. For every loan I gave you. I've had a lawyer review every text, every Venmo request, every conversation. Legally, you all owe me this money. Uncle Mike went pale. You can't sue us. We're family. You're right. I'm not going to sue you. But I'm also not going to forget. And I'm not going to be your ATM anymore. I looked each of them in the eye. If you want a relationship with me moving forward, it will be one based on respect, not money. If you can't do that, then we're done. I closed my laptop, picked up my bag. Jordan, wait, my mother said, her voice breaking. You can't just leave. Watch me. I walked out, and this time, I didn't look back. That was 3 months ago. My phone blew up for 2 weeks straight. Angry texts, voicemails calling me cruel, manipulative, heartless. Then came the apologies, the promises to change, the sob stories about how they'd always loved me. I didn't respond to any of it. The only person I told the full truth to was Marcus. I took him to dinner at the nicest restaurant in the city. Told him everything. He listened. Then he laughed until he cried. Bro, that's the most savage thing I've ever heard. You don't think I went too far? Too far? Jordan, you gave them every chance. They showed you who they were. You just believed them. He raised his glass. To real family. The ones who show up when you have nothing. I clinked my glass against his. Final question for you all. Would you do what Jordan did? Or would you just cut them off without the test? Let me know in the comments. And if this story made you think differently about family, consider subscribing. I share stories like this every week. Last week, my mom called. I answered. Jordan, she said, her voice small. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For what specifically? I asked. She was quiet for a long time. For taking you for granted. For only seeing you as a solution to our problems. For not being there when you needed us. It was the first real apology I'd ever gotten from her. I don't know if we can fix this, I said honestly. I know. But I want to try. No money. No favors. Just, can we get coffee? We're having coffee next week. I don't know if we'll ever be close again. I don't know if I can trust them. But at least now I know the truth. Money doesn't buy you family. It just reveals who your family really is. And sometimes, the people who matter most aren't the ones who share your blood. They're the ones who show up with groceries and an envelope of cash when you're at your lowest. Those are the people worth keeping. As for the rest, they can figure out their own problems now. I'm done being the family ATM. If this story resonated with you, do me a favor, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And drop a comment telling me your own family money story. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.